Hi there, welcome to this session on how to nurture your child's mental health. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know that your time is valuable. I'm going to get right to it. I want to share with you 20 practical ways to support your child's mental health in the home, and I hope that you will gain something from this video. My name is Mrs. Williams. I have been blessed to be a part of the Villages Charter School since 2004. I've taught both at the elementary and the middle school, and I have two children who attend school here, a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old. I'm from Texas, and I love the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm so happy to be sharing some practical ways with you that you can support your kiddos. A child's mental health is just as important as their physical health. I hope that you'll keep that in mind as we go throughout our video today and ponder how you might express that in your home. Trends today have medical experts, mental health experts quite concerned. Teen mental health crisis continues to grow, and the rising trend is being considered an epidemic for our students. 1 in 3 of all adolescents ages 13 to 18 experience an anxiety disorder. 1 in 3. 70% of teens consider depression the top problem for their peers. How can we help our children navigate through this changing world and maintain a healthy mental state? 20 practical ways are coming to you. I think that whether you have a child who you are very deeply concerned about, maybe your child is declining in their mental health and you have some worries, maybe they're struggling with anxiety, depression, maybe they're withdrawing. Certainly you can find a lot here today that can support you. And if your child is not showing any signs of mental health struggle at all, you can certainly still implement these practical ways to be proactive, to combat the struggles that might be coming for your child. We all know adolescence is a difficult time of life, and we live in an ever-changing world, and so we need to be incredibly intentional within our homes to support our children and to help them thrive. Certainly, I do want to let you know that you have a team of people here at VCS that want to help and support you. I'm not a counselor or therapist in any way. These practical ways that I developed are simply coming out of a teacher's heart who certainly just wants to support you in some practical ways to help at home. If you do need to reach out to somebody for help, you can call our school and talk to our administration or a school counselor. We'd be happy to support you and your child's mental health. Number 1, food choices do matter. Good nutrition creates health in all areas of our existence. Everything you eat affects the way you think and affects the way that you feel. Some tips on food choices, what goes in. 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Consistent, routine meal times. Avoid eating in bedrooms, even snacks. Share meals together. Encourage healthy eating. Be aware that certain foods, like greasy foods, for example, can impact skin health. Eat unplugged, and be aware that certain foods can impact behavior, such as red dyes. So I know that certainly as you get into a parent of a middle schooler and into high school, students start to make their own food choices more and more, and it's harder to pull the reins back on their choices regarding food. These are ways, though, to help our children develop healthy eating habits now and into adulthood. Being together at meals, not alone in their bedroom, certainly helps their mental state. 3 meals a day starting out with protein and breakfast in the morning is a way to help their brain be fueled and to have consistent meal times, to know when they're coming and to make sure that you do indeed have consistent routine meals would help your children very much. I know that regarding red dye, my son is not too good at responding to red dye, and so we took that out of his diet a long time ago. Number 2, moving is vital. Children need the freedom and time to play. Play is not a luxury. Play is a necessity. And yes, that goes along with our middle and high schoolers as well. This does not just apply to elementary and younger age children. Here are some ways to help your child move more often and sweat. Sports, of course, enroll them in a sport. VCS has a wide range of sports offered. There's something out there for everybody. A gym membership, exercise program at home, even utilizing VR, virtual reality. There's some really cool things out there to exercise with VR, which might entice some of our gamers out there. Walks and trails. There's tons of great ones around here in Florida. Going on bikes, fun runs and races, sign up for. Go to the parks. I know there's some Frisbee golf parks around, and community events. Sweat benefits your psychological health. Number 3, have a balanced emphasis on grades. For teens, 61% admitted that their pressure came from grades. 75% of teens described themselves as often or always stressed by schoolwork. Your child is more than a letter, whether it be an F, whether it be an A, whether it be in between. Ask yourself, how much do I focus on grades in the time that I spend talking with my child? We don't get a lot of time during the day to talk with our children. They're at school all day. How much of the time that I do have with them am I focused on speaking about grades or school? Do my conversations about school lead to heightened emotions and conflict? If my child is struggling with grades, am I providing support? Does my high-achieving child feel pressure? Your child's mental health is more important than their grades. Partner with VCS to support your child academically. VCS is dedicated to academic growth in every student. You do have school counselors, and they do a great job of helping VCS students achieve success while supporting their mental health. Please reach out to them if you need any help with your child's academic success. Number 4, set boundaries on content. Content that they're viewing, that they're watching. Pay close attention to what they're watching and accessing on their devices. Set limits and boundaries on all devices. Bark, for example, is a great program to view and to be flagged regarding different content that they're using. Be aware of the level of violence that video games and other content that they're looking at consist of. Consider developmental appropriateness of content that they're watching or experiencing. Some dangers out there are TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, the television, and all movie, TV, streaming platforms like Netflix, and video game systems. There is dangerous content on each of these platforms, content that can pull them in and certainly impact their brain and their mental health. So those are definitely platforms to be aware of the dangers of, and there's plenty more out there that are dangerous as well. Avoid usage behind a closed door in their room. Expect the phone to be charged in a space that's shared. Have them be on their devices in a space that's shared. At least have them keep their door open. There's a lot that they have at their fingertips on their phone behind that closed door, and it's scary what they're being exposed to. So be aware, because that is one of what the experts are saying the key reasons for our mental health decline in our teens is their increased use of social media and other accessible things on their devices. Promote healthy relationships. The parent-child connection is the most powerful mental health intervention known to mankind. So sometimes relationships between parents and adolescents can be difficult. So certainly I understand, and we all are in this together, but being intentional to be the adult and to have and promote a healthy relationship between you and your child one that is nurturing and supportive, loving and caring is very important. Perhaps they need you now more than ever. Promote peaceful and thriving relationships within your partnership, whether with a partner in your home, whether divorced, there's a partnership, or are partnerships within your life. Please have the initiative and the intention to promote a healthy partnership, whether it be a spouse or an ex-husband or an ex-wife. A sibling relationship, promote healthy, peaceful sibling relationships. That is a great way through sibling relationships to model and to practice how to have healthy relationships with other humans. Friendships as well, certainly show or bring up some red flags if some relationships with friends are not healthy, and be willing to set boundaries there. Take time each day to nurture your relationship with your child, every single day. Number 6, have fun. A deep need in adolescence is to have fun. Create things together, craft, cook, make, construct, build. Laugh often and hard, even if you have to fake it. Be funny, be silly, smile super big. Prank appropriately, of course. I know one time my son and I pranked my husband. You guys are all going to go home and do this. I do not promote this. We snuck into his sock drawer. We took a pair of his socks and we cut off the tips of his socks. And then we put him back in and waited for the time where my husband put those socks on, and sure enough, his toes poked right through. And the laughter and the fun that my son and I shared through that certainly was invaluable. Appropriate pranking, of course. Play, just play. Play together. Go out and spray each other with the water hose. Sometimes we treat our teens like they're too big to do fun things like that. And maybe if we have an elementary schooler or a preschooler, we would have thought of it. But teens are just big kids. Adolescent children are just big kids. So going out and spraying each other with the water hose or throwing the frisbee or playing with the dog are all really great activities to do. Wrestle safely, of course. Tickle appropriately. Stop and be present. Stop and be present. Be there. Spend time outside, play games, board games, go on adventures, travel, explore, throw parties, harmless parties, kid-friendly parties, give gifts. Just focus on how can we have fun? How can I get my kids smiling and laughing today? Number 7, nurture a well-rounded brain. Add variety to their life through a wide range of activities, exposure, and experiences. Journaling, giving them a diary. I had a diary in middle school. It was really important to me and some things that were going on, and I would process through writing every night. I would write poetry. I would reflect. I would encourage every single parent of an adolescent to ensure that their kiddo has a journal and encourage them to write in it. Puzzles, jigsaw puzzles. Have a table in your home where a puzzle's laid out. That might be something that you find them heading to every once in a while. It calms their mind, calms their brain. Nature. Being out in nature is very good for the brain. The sights and the senses help us. Chess is so good. There's research out there proving that chess helps anxiety, helps depression because of the process your brain goes through the game of chess. Books, reading. If you want to know more about that, I do have a session on how to encourage your children to be readers. You can go watch that as well. But books do also positively affect mental health. Books that have content, though, that supports them. If your child is dealing with dark and morbid themes already, your child is struggling with feeling dark, feeling depressed, then we want to make sure we're getting books and having them pick books that do not continue to feed that. Hobbies and music. There is something for everybody out there. Whether it be an instrument, a hobby, a sport, there is something for everybody, and we need to get our kids involved. Number 8, have conversation. Have conversation. This one sounds a little silly, but through the insertion of devices in our home, conversations have dwindled, and they're very important to continue to be intentional practices within our home. Any chance you get, talk. In the car, Have them put their device down and talk. Okay? Tuck them in at night, every night, even if they're 17 years old. Have meals together. Share some time in the common areas and living spaces. I know that developmentally it's very appropriate for kiddos certain ages to want to be in their room and be all by themselves, and that is okay. But it is okay also to say, you've been in there too long, you need to come out here to the living area. You need to come out here to the kitchen. Or I'm cooking, why don't you sit there while I cook and talk to me? Let them know that you want to talk to them. Let them know that you value time with them. Even if they grumble and moan and whine, it's still clicking in their head that they want to talk to me. And also listen. Listen to them. Give them a chance to talk. Finish their thought, their statement without inserting your own. And even when they're done, it's okay not to respond. It's okay to just let them share and kind of leave it at that. This must involve turning off the devices. I realize that I am repeating myself regarding the connection of devices to the practical way that's being mentioned. And that is because the research out there, the experts are seeing that when the increase of social media and devices started to take off, that is also when our children's mental health started to decline. There was a direct correlation and connection there. And so I do think that woven throughout all of these practical ways of supporting our children's mental health includes a healthy relationship with devices. And with that being said, devices are oftentimes what have been keeping us from behaving and taking part in these healthy activities and practical ways to support our mental health. Number 9 is to help them practice mindfulness. Help your child value their mental state through awareness of moments and focusing on feelings, thoughts, attitudes, senses, and body to help them be consciously aware. The dangers of screens is that they dictate what our children see, feel, think, experience. Our children's thoughts, attitudes, and emotions, as well as their bodily sensations, are driven by their devices. If a kiddo is bored, they turn to a device instead of being in a space where there's quiet, where they are bored, and they have to just think, feel, and experience what's going on around them naturally. Examples of activities that encourage mindfulness are going on walks, going on bike rides, painting. I know you're thinking, we don't paint, they don't paint. Painting is such a wonderful activity that helps to calm and kind of serve as a bit of relief. I know me and my teenagers paint sometimes. We just go out in the garage and we sit and we paint. And we're not painters by any means, but it is always a very enjoyable experience. Read, complete puzzles, write, play with your pet, have an instrument, play a sport, craft, build, and of course, don't forget the dying art of boredom. Boredom is good for our children. Allow them opportunities to be in their own space, to not be plugged in, and to have mindful time each day. This can even include sitting in the car and looking out the window. You know, that's what we used to do, right, in the old days. Practice productivity is number 10, I believe. Yep. Practice productivity is number 10. Productivity feels good, okay? Accomplishing productive tasks is fulfilling and is a necessity and should be prioritized and valued over leveling up on a video game. We need our kiddos to learn the joy of being productive, that even if they don't want to do a chore, that we do receive satisfaction by getting work done. Certainly, we need to help them because when they leave us, they need to be productive citizens. Ways to be productive are they doing their homework? They shouldn't be on devices if they're not doing their homework, right? And completing homework feels good. I know it can be a battle, and I know sometimes kiddos think, I don't really care, but truly, it doesn't feel good to not do their homework. Doesn't feel good to them. They might not think or show that it doesn't, but it doesn't feel good. Organize. Have them organize. Clean the bathroom. Dust, vacuum, wash the car, do laundry, make lists. Encourage productivity. Number 11, teach them how to have good hygiene. So what happens is when kiddos start to decline in mental health and struggle with depression or anxiety or whatever it is that they're dealing with, hygiene can also go downhill. And so it's important, even if they're 16 or 17 and you think they should have their hygiene figured out, they might need some reminders, because without proper hygiene, their social and emotional health can be negatively affected. They can struggle in confidence, and it can be hard for them to be close to others, close to people. So we want to help them succeed in good hygiene, or else it will just push them kind of further down in those dark places. Expectations each day should include putting on deodorant, brushing teeth well, brushing their hair, taking a shower, and taking care of their clothes, making sure their clothes are clean and that they're only wearing clean clothes. Number 12, express creativity. Find their creative niche. Creating takes one's mind off of hurting. Every single adolescent is going to have times of hurting, going to go through some tough stuff. Creativity, expressing themselves creatively, help to take their minds off of what's bothering them. Number 13, set up a support system, a multi-generational support system. If your child has a withdrawn nature and is shy, has a tendency to be shy, that does not mean that they don't need people. It is normal for certain developmental stages for kiddos to want to hide out in their bedrooms and be secluded. There is a time and place for that. But we want them to be around people. Whether they want to or not, we need to show them these are people in your life that have your back, that are there for you. So be intentional about surrounding them with people and make sure they're around them. Your children's teachers and staff at school can provide a support system and can be some of those people for you as well. So please reach out. Number 14, they might need a pet or exposure to animals, especially if they're really, really hurting, if they're really struggling. A dog, or a cat can provide great relief and great connection for a child who's struggling. FFA, getting involved with FFA and all that they do with animals is a positive experience. Volunteer, buy a pet. Horse riding and grooming. There's a lot of horse ranches around that there's a great connection that shows that being around horses impacts emotion and feelings and mental state, as well as having a pet. Petting an animal helps people. And so certainly putting your child around animals is a proactive way to help their mental health. Number 15, find a hobby. There's something out there for everybody. Sometimes you might not have found it yet, or you might not know what in the world does my kiddo like to do. Look it up, look for some ideas, and just try them out. Just take some time to try them out and see what connects with them, because when they're involved in something that they love, it's hard to be sad and hurting. Volunteer and serve others. This is perhaps one of the greater interventions, because when a child is in a difficult mental state and their mental health is struggling, and they come outside of themselves and they support others and they see a smile on someone's face that they put there, it can't help but really start to heal and to awaken some joy and peace in their hearts and in their minds. So by putting them in volunteering situations, by helping them find maybe community projects and service out there where they can help the community and help others, is a wonderful proactive way to support mental health. Number 17, set rules and limitations on devices. This one is very hard, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because it is just incredibly challenging, I know, especially if you have a teen that is addicted to technology, which yes, some are truly addicted. What it does to the brain, what devices and glowing screens do to the brain can easily cause addiction amongst our kids. And so it's important that you set limits and that you have expectations, that you sit down and make a plan of this is how much I'm comfortable with, this is what we're not going to do, and make those known and hold them accountable. Because again, their devices a lot of times is what's keeping them away from all of the other positive ways to impact their mental health. Number 18, ask for help. Please reach out to all the support systems out there, school counselors here at VCS, administration, teachers. There's hotlines, community resources that certainly are there for you. Ask for help. We don't expect you to do it alone. I'm not a counselor, I'm not a therapist, but there are plenty out there, and you can find support, and don't be embarrassed to ask for help. Number 19, be supportive. Be there. Your emotions, your presence, send messages. The way you interact with your child, send messages to your child. Write notes. Be there for them. Write notes. Put it in their lunchbox. Put it in their backpack. Put it on their pillow. You can write notes of encouragement, affirmations, just expressing your feelings and thoughts, positivity towards your child. Be honest. They're watching you. Show honesty. Show patience. Be gentle. Be careful with your tone of voice. Allow them to help you. Ask them for help, even if they don't do it in the way that you want them to do it. That builds confidence. Say you're sorry. We mess up. Be willing to say sorry. Be transparent and share stories. Be vulnerable. Let them know about times that you went through some tough situations and that you got through. Share those stories and situations with them, because that can help them to see, okay, I can do it too. And tuck them in at night. Number 20, set rules to support mental health success. A lot of these practical ways to help our child's mental health require behavior, steps, attitudes, initiative, and can be met with pushback from our children. So setting them up for success is having expectations and boundaries and rules in place to ensure that they are engaging in what is best for them. Many of the ways to support mental health can be met with defiance and lack of interest by your adolescent child. It takes time to change a child's behavior. Implementing these practical ways to support your child's mental health, it's not going to change things overnight. But over time, hopefully, it will help. And certainly there's mental health issues out there that are very complicated and very involved. And so we know and we recognize that there can be so many challenges out there. So please remember to seek help in those areas. Set rules that show that you value what is best for them. Rules are fluid, though, and dependent upon each home's needs. So some examples of some dialogue or some rules or some expectations could be, okay, shower daily or your devices are off the next day or the next 2 days. Take your dog on a walk before you turn your device on. However much time you spend being active is how much time you get on screens the next day. If people are around, your device should be off. If you're in the car, your device should be off. You are allowed a blank amount of time on screens per day or per week. And you need to do a mindful activity, then you can turn on the TV. Those are just some examples of some ways to implement all of the well-rounded experiences that we need to put in front of our children. I think the most important rule here that we all need to consider is how much time should you and do you want to allow your child to have on their devices. That is something to consider in every home so that we can get ahead of this growing problem, in our homes. The past cannot be changed. We all make mistakes. I've made plenty. There's a lot I wish I could go back and change. We can't change the past, but we can start now. The future is yet in your power. So I encourage you to start now, to start fresh. Maybe when you hang up or stop this video, you can sit down and just make some notes and start brainstorming and making a plan. Don't let too much time go by before you are intentional and proactive to support your kiddos' mental health. Thank you for being a part of VCS. We value you. We value the homes and the families and the students that we have in our community. We want our students to thrive. We know that they have a future. We know that every child, every student at VCS can contribute to this world in such a positive way. And we want to partner with you in doing the best for our kids to help them. They need our help. And so we want to be the adults to set up an environment that is successful and supportive of their mental health. Certainly reach out to me, brooke.williams@tvcs.org. I'd be happy to share with you the slideshow from today, and maybe it would help you to set some goals for your home. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the sessions that you're going to be viewing through VCS Pride Night. Have a great evening.